We live in a world where it's easy to lose yourself trying to fix everything and everyone around you. But here's the truth: nothing changes until you change. When you focus on yourself, your mindset, your habits, your health, your faith, you start building the foundation for everything else to stand on. Imagine building a house on sand. It won't last. That's how life works when you skip self-work. The more you invest in becoming a stronger, wiser, and healthier version of yourself, the more prepared you are to handle life's challenges. Growth attracts growth. Heal your wounds, strengthen your character, and watch how the right people and opportunities are drawn to you. You can't pour from an empty cup. Too many people burn themselves out trying to be everything for everyone, a friend, a provider, a supporter, without taking the time to refill their own cup. The result? Resentment, exhaustion, and sometimes even depression. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Just like on an airplane, you put your oxygen mask on first so you can help others breathe. When you're mentally, physically, and spiritually full, you become a better parent, partner, friend, and leader. Your energy, peace, and joy overflow into others naturally, without forcing it. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. We often get distracted by what others are doing, comparing ourselves on social media, or worrying about things beyond our control. Every minute you spend obsessing over someone else's life is a minute stolen from building your own. You can't plant seeds in your garden if you're too busy staring over the fence at your neighbors. When you focus inward, you take back your time, your mental clarity, and your power. That's how you start walking in purpose, by cutting off the noise and listening to your own calling. Healing brings alignment. Many of the problems in your life aren't about bad luck or bad timing. They're about unhealed pain, broken patterns, and old wounds that keep attracting the wrong situations. When you focus on your inner healing, forgiving yourself, letting go of grudges, releasing toxic attachments, you start to align with peace. And when you're aligned, the chaos starts to fade. Healthy relationships replace toxic ones. Opportunities match your new standards. The same life feels lighter, simply because you've removed the heavy baggage you've been carrying for years. Focus builds confidence and clarity. When you focus on yourself, you begin to know yourself. And when you know yourself, your strengths, values, and purpose, you move with confidence. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's clarity. It's knowing you don't have to chase validation because you already approve of yourself. People respect those who know who they are and where they're going. The more you work on yourself, the less you fear rejection, the less you crave approval, and the more you stand firm in your truth. The universe responds to intentional energy. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on chaos, you get more chaos. If you focus on growth, peace, and love, you'll start seeing those things show up in your life. It's not magic, it's mindset and energy. When you operate with intentionality, you send a message to life. I'm ready for more, I'm ready for better. And the universe, or God, or whatever you believe in, starts rearranging things in your favor. People leave doors closed. Storms come not to punish you, but to make room for the blessings you've prepared yourself to receive. Conclusion: focusing on yourself isn't about isolation, it's about preparation. It's not selfish, it's strategic. When you become the best version of you, healed, confident, disciplined, and clear, the right relationships, opportunities, and blessings fall into place almost effortlessly. Your life becomes a reflection of your inner work, so stop waiting for the world to change for you. Change yourself for the world you want. We live in a time where everybody wants the results, but nobody wants to start at the root. People want the dream relationship, the six-figure business, the respect, the peace of mind, but they're skipping the most important step, working on themselves. You can't expect life to give you something you're not prepared to handle. It's like asking for a blessing that you don't have the character to keep. If your foundation isn't strong, everything you build on top of it will eventually crumble. Think about a house. If the base is cracked, it doesn't matter how beautiful the walls are or how expensive the furniture is. Sooner or later, it's going to collapse. That's exactly what happens when you try to build your life without first fixing what's inside you. Self-work is about taking responsibility for your own growth instead of blaming circumstances, parents, your past, or even God. It's looking in the mirror and asking yourself hard questions. What are my habits saying about me? What mindsets are holding me back? Where do I still need healing? See, life won't give you what you're praying for if you're not ready to receive it. You can ask for a healthy relationship, but if you're still carrying the insecurities from the last one, you'll sabotage the new one. You can pray for more money, but if you don't know how to manage the little you have, that blessing will slip right through your fingers. Self-work is the training ground for the blessings you want. The beautiful thing is, when you start working on yourself, the outside world starts to respond differently. You carry yourself with more confidence. You stop tolerating disrespect. You set boundaries without feeling guilty. You stop wasting energy on people and things that drain you. And suddenly it feels like the whole world is shifting, but really, it's you who's shifting, and life is just reflecting that back to you. Here's the truth: growth attracts growth. The more you invest in your character, your discipline, your mindset, your faith, the more you naturally attract people and opportunities that match that energy. You won't have to chase them, they'll find you, because when you're working on yourself, you become a magnet for the right things. And the things that don't belong, they start falling away on their own. So before you try to fix the relationship, fix yourself. Before you try to change your situation, change your habits. Before you try to convince the world you're ready, prove it to yourself. The work you put in behind closed doors will always show up in public. If you want the blessings to stay, make sure your foundation is ready to hold them. One of the quickest ways to burn yourself out in life is to constantly give. Give without ever taking the time to replenish what you've lost. We live in a culture that glorifies self-sacrifice but often forgets self-preservation. People will tell you to be there for everyone, to keep showing up no matter how tired you are, to never say no. But they won't tell you that running on empty will break you down faster than anything else. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have, and yet so many of us try to. We give our energy, our time, our money, our love until there's nothing left for ourselves, and then we wonder why we feel resentful, bitter, or drained. Here's the truth: focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's essential. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of anyone else. Think about what they tell you on an airplane. In case of emergency, put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone else breathe. That's how life works too. If you're mentally exhausted, emotionally unstable, or spiritually dry, you're not really helping the people around you. You might be present physically, but you're not giving them your best self. When you learn to fill your own cup first, you start showing up differently. Your energy changes. You speak with more love because you're not running on irritation. You listen with more patience because you're not distracted by your own exhaustion. You give from a place of abundance instead of desperation, and the people around you feel that difference. They don't just get pieces of you, they get the whole, healthy, energized you. This means creating habits that restore you. Maybe it's waking up early to pray, read, or meditate before the world starts pulling on you. Maybe it's exercising to release stress, eating better to fuel your body, or taking quiet time to think. Maybe it's saying no to certain invitations because you know you need rest. And sometimes it's just giving yourself permission to step back from situations that constantly drain you, no matter how much people expect you to stay. The world will take as much as you're willing to give, and if you're not careful, you'll end up empty while everyone else is full. That's why it's your responsibility to protect your energy, your peace, and your health. Because here's what happens when you stay full: you start overflowing. And when you overflow, the people around you benefit naturally. Your love is richer, your support is stronger, your presence is more impactful. You don't have to force it, you don't have to fake it. It's real because it's coming from a place of wholeness. So don't feel guilty for focusing on yourself. Feel responsible, because when you are full, everyone you love gets the best of you, not the leftovers. One of the most dangerous things in life is distraction. It doesn't always come dressed as trouble. Sometimes it comes looking like entertainment, like curiosity, like just checking in on someone else's life. And before you know it, hours, days, even years slip by while you've been watching instead of working. We live in an age where it's easier than ever to be distracted. Social media has turned comparison into a full-time job for some people. We scroll through highlight reels of other people's lives, and we start feeling behind, less than, or even hopeless. But the truth is, you're not behind, you're just out of focus. Distraction is the enemy of destiny because it pulls your eyes away from your own lane. You can't plant seeds in your garden if you're too busy staring over the fence at your neighbors. You can't build your house if you keep walking into someone else's, looking around and wondering why it looks better than yours. Every single moment you spend focusing on someone else's blessings is a moment stolen from building your own. And here's the thing: God didn't give you their vision, He gave you yours. So why are you spending your energy trying to measure your race by someone else's finish line? When you start focusing on yourself, something powerful happens. You reclaim your time, you reclaim your mental space. You start putting that energy into your own goals, your own healing, your own purpose. That's when you begin to see results, not because the world suddenly got easier, but because you finally stopped scattering your energy in 100 different directions. Sometimes the distractions aren't even people you envy. They're people you're trying to save. You're so busy trying to pull someone else out of the mud that you're sinking right along with them. And while it's good to help people, you can't let someone else's choices become the anchor that holds you back from your own destiny. If you really want to help them get to your next level first, show them what's possible. You can't lead them to higher ground if you haven't climbed it yourself. Focusing inward doesn't mean being selfish, it means being disciplined. It's about setting boundaries for your attention. It's about knowing when to put the phone down, when to say no, and when to cut off the noise so you can hear your own calling. You can't hear God's voice for your life if you're tuned into everybody else's station. Your purpose is waiting for you, but it won't chase you down while you're busy chasing distractions. You have to choose it every day, every hour, and the more you choose to focus on yourself, the clearer your path becomes. And when your path is clear, walking in your destiny stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like your everyday reality. A lot of the challenges we face in life aren't really about bad luck, wrong timing, or even other people. Many times, the real problem is what's still unhealed inside of us. See, life has a way of mirroring our inner state. If you've got wounds that you've never dealt with, they will show up in your choices, your relationships, and even in the opportunities you attract. You can change your job, change your city, change your circle, but if you haven't changed what's going on in your heart and mind, you'll end up reliving the same problems in different places. Healing is one of the most powerful investments you can make in yourself. It's about facing the truth you've been avoiding. Maybe it's forgiving someone who never apologized. Maybe it's letting go of resentment you've been carrying for years. Maybe it's admitting that you've been holding on to toxic relationships because you're afraid of being alone. Healing forces you to deal with the hard stuff, so you can stop repeating cycles that no longer serve you. When you heal, you align, and alignment changes everything. You stop feeling like life is a constant uphill battle. You start meeting people who match your energy instead of draining it. You stop chasing things that look good on the outside but leave you empty on the inside. Opportunities start coming that fit your purpose, not just your pride. It's like the pieces of your life start falling into place, not because the world changed, but because you did. Unhealed pain will trick you into thinking chaos is normal. It will make you accept drama as love, struggle as success, and stress as a sign of progress. But once you start healing, you see clearly, and what you see, you can no longer ignore. You realize you don't have to live in survival mode. You don't have to settle. You don't have to carry baggage that's not even yours to carry. Now healing isn't easy. It's not a one-day process, and it's not always pretty. It might mean sitting with uncomfortable emotions. It might mean crying over things you thought you'd gotten over. It might mean losing people who were connected to your pain but can't connect to your growth. But every step you take toward healing brings you closer to peace, and peace is priceless. When you prioritize your healing, you give yourself permission to create a life that actually feels good, not just looks good. You create space for joy, for love, for opportunities that align with who you are now, not who you were when you were broken. And from that place of wholeness, everything in your life starts to line up in ways you couldn't have forced if you tried. That's the power of healing. It makes the blessings fit. When you truly start focusing on yourself, something amazing happens. You begin to actually know yourself. And I'm not talking about knowing your favorite food or your favorite color. I'm talking about knowing your values, your limits, your strengths, your weaknesses, your purpose. Most people are walking through life on autopilot, shaped by what other people told them they should be. They're living out other people's opinions, other people's dreams, other people's fears. But when you slow down and put your energy into understanding yourself, you get a kind of clarity that changes the way you move. Clarity builds confidence, not the loud, arrogant kind of confidence that's all about showing off, but the quiet, unshakable kind that comes from truly knowing who you are. You don't need to chase validation because you've already approved of yourself. You don't have to beg for a seat at the table because you know you can build your own. You stop being afraid of rejection because you understand that what's meant for you can't be taken from you. And here's the beautiful part: confidence doesn't just make you feel better, It changes how the world responds to you. People respect someone who moves with certainty. Opportunities open up because others can sense that you're grounded, that you're not desperate, that you're sure about where you're going. You become a magnet for the right connections, the right relationships, the right doors, because you're walking in alignment with who you are, not who you think you have to be to impress people. But you can't fake this kind of confidence. You can't post a few inspirational quotes on social media and expect to feel whole. Real confidence is built in the quiet, in the hours you spend working on your craft, in the discipline you show when nobody's watching, in the boundaries you set even when it costs you something. It's built in those little decisions to keep showing up for yourself, even when it's hard, even when no one claps for you. When you focus on yourself, you start filtering your life through a new lens. You stop saying yes to everything just to please people. You start protecting your energy like it's gold. You stop allowing temporary feelings to dictate long-term decisions. And every time you make a choice that's aligned with your true self, your clarity sharpens and your confidence grows. This is why I tell people, you can't wait for the world to validate you before you believe in yourself. That's backwards. You have to validate yourself first. You have to be the one who says, I am enough, I am capable, and I am worthy, long before the applause comes. Because when you know who you are, you stop chasing things that were never yours, and you start attracting everything that was. Whatever you focus on in life grows. It's not just a nice saying, it's a truth that plays out in every area of your life. If you focus on negativity, you'll start to see more reasons to be negative. If you focus on problems, they'll multiply in your mind until they feel impossible to solve. But if you focus on growth, on peace, on becoming the best version of yourself, you'll start noticing opportunities, blessings, and solutions that were always there but hidden behind your old mindset. The energy you put out comes back to you. It's like planting seeds. You can't expect to reap a harvest of joy if you've been sowing bitterness. When you operate with intentional energy, you stop living reactively and start living purposefully. You begin your day with direction instead of just seeing what happens. You set your intentions for how you want to think, how you want to speak, how you want to treat yourself and others, and that energy sets the tone for everything that follows. Life starts responding differently because you've changed the frequency you're operating on. Sometimes this shift can be uncomfortable. People will leave, doors you thought you needed will close. Storms will come out of nowhere, and you might be tempted to think you're going backward. But what's really happening is alignment. Life is making room for the things you've been preparing yourself to receive. The old you attracted a certain kind of chaos, but the new you can't carry that into the future you're building. So it has to go. The key is to trust the process. Trust that when you focus on your own growth and keep your intentions pure, the right people, opportunities, and breakthroughs will find their way to you. This isn't about sitting back and waiting. It's about taking consistent, intentional action while knowing that everything you're doing is planting seeds for the life you want. And those seeds don't sprout overnight, but if you stay focused, they will grow. When you put this kind of intentional energy into yourself, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging for doors to open and start realizing that the right ones will open at the right time. You stop needing to force relationships or jobs or situations to work because the ones that are meant for you will fit effortlessly. That's not luck, that's preparation meeting opportunity. So if you want to see your life fall into place, don't spend your days trying to control everything outside of you. Pour your energy into becoming the kind of person who can handle the life you're praying for. The more you focus on yourself, your healing, your growth, your peace, the more you'll see the world around you shift to match the person you're becoming. And that's when you'll realize it was never about chasing the blessings. It was about becoming the person they were always meant to find. At the end of the day, everything you're chasing, the love, the success, the peace, the purpose, it all starts and ends with you. The moment you decide to truly focus on yourself, you take the power back from circumstances, from people, from your past, and you put it where it belongs, in your own hands. You realize that you don't have to beg life to be good to you. You just have to prepare yourself to handle the goodness when it comes. This journey isn't about selfishness, it's about stewardship. It's about taking care of the mind, body, and spirit God gave you so you can show up as your best in every area of life. It's about filling your cup so full that you overflow into everyone around you without even trying. It's about silencing the distractions, healing the old wounds, building your confidence, and putting out intentional energy that draws the right things to you. And when you commit to this, really commit, you'll notice something. The people who belong in your life will show up, and the ones who don't will fade away. The opportunities that match your purpose will find their way to you, and the ones that would have derailed you will pass you by. The storms you used to think were punishments will reveal themselves as preparation. And slowly but surely, you'll look around and realize that everything you once prayed for is now in front of you, not because life magically got better, but because you did. So if you take nothing else from this, take this. Stop waiting for the world to change for you. Start changing yourself for the world you want. Work on you like your future depends on it, because it does. And when you do that, you won't have to chase the life you've been dreaming of. You'll live it, you'll become it, and everything else will fall into place.